on my list I had Alien Resurrection. So
that's number 9.
So far I've got 2.
I originally,
so for number 9 you had Alien 3.
On my original list, I did have Alien Resurrection on the original.
Why did you change
as
it?
number 9? Because
Alien Resurrection is fucking sad. But you did tell me the other day you've seen it in a different light.
I've rewatched it since, and I've looked at it in a more artistic view.
It is beautiful to look at.
It's just the way it's shot. Do that
French.
Like yellowing.
Yeah, it's like a sepia tone throughout the whole thing. Everything's brown and yellow,
and it's got like a Jean-Paul Gaultier kind of vibe to it, and like that French feel to it.
Yeah,
who was the director?
Jean-Pierre Jeunet. So Jean-Paul Jeunet. I'll make any corrections on the screen. But yeah, so French guy. So it's got that artistic, nice feel to it. It looks really good. It's just a terrible story.
Terrible.
Very badly acted. Acted not too bad, apart from Winona Ryder because she's terrible. But yeah, visually, this is. I've come to appreciate this film as well.
A little throwback to Sons of Anarchy. Ron Perlman is in it as well.
Of course, yeah. No, so that's a shared universe.
So there's 2 now. We've got
Jonah is one of Sons of Anarchy characters' relatives, maybe.
Possibly.
We've
got Tommy Flanagan now from AVP, and we've got Ron Perlman in Alien Resurrection. So as we go through it, I might try and pick up any more if I come across them, but I don't think I will. But anyway, what I was saying.
Sorry to cut you off. Is Vince Vaughn in any of these films?
I hope so.
I'm sure. Yeah, maybe he'll pop up in a cameo. I don't know. But yeah, visually,
it's fantastic.
It's really, really nicely.
You didn't like the story?
I didn't. It's not that I didn't like the story. I just thought it was so simplistic and so derivative of all the ones previous. I mean, it didn't do anything new. It's just characters stuck on a ship and
have you read this? You've read this, haven't you?
Not all of them. I've got a lot of these individual comics.
The first story in this, there's an element where there's a secret society where they worship the xenomorph.
I think I've read that one. Yeah.
They call them the Mother, and it's almost like a cult following for them. And there's a scene in Alien Resurrection where one of the scientists is talking about the alien, and how beautiful it is and how majestic it is, and it's the perfect specimen and stuff like that. So, what year did this come out? Resurrection?
97.
97. I think that them stories were written between 93 and 94, 89 and 94.
I imagine Joss Whedon will have pulled a lot of elements from the comic books he's in.
Which is good, because it's showing, historical canonisation.
Well, yeah, it just shows that the person who was, one of the makers of
clued in at least.
Yeah, clued in. They knew the source material. They'd used the source material. So you've got a director that's got a visual flair. You've got a writer that knows what he's writing about.
Yeah.
You've just got actors that don't give a shit. Don't particularly want to be there. No, they're not that bad. Obviously, Ron Perlman's great. Michael Wincott is great in everything he's in. Michael Wincott is the first one of the space pirates that died. He's the main space pirate guy that gets the tongue through the chest. He gets the second. Yeah, he gets killed straight away, which is a shame. He's the bad guy from Robin Hood. He's in the Crow.
Fantastic
in the Crow. He's in the Three Musketeers. He's in Serapin Falls. I think it's a western. I used to think he was not in many films, but I've looked at his IMDb for this, and he's in shitloads of films. He's in like a movie every year.
Like a modern day Steve Buscemi.
No, not that prolific. No, but he's a working actor. He's been in a movie or TV show every year since 1979.
Where's he from? Is he American?
He's Canadian.
Oh, is he Canadian?
He's got the most villainous, raspy, yet fucking strangely arousing voice I've ever heard.
A bit like Christopher Lambert.
Yeah.
Like that weird Canadian French accent thing going on.
But yeah, he's a great actor. But the characters are okay because they've all got their own little traits and their own little personalities. But the main thing that stands out for me, this goes back to Joss Whedon. There's a bit of a fucking. I've got a monologue coming up about Joss Whedon. Basically, Ripley. I've discovered the last time I watched this movie, I discovered for the first time now that Ripley's character is absolutely pointless in this film. She does nothing. She has absolutely no impact on the story or the characters whatsoever. And there's a very specific reason for it. Have you ever noticed that?
I'm just like spinning through the movie in my head and
the only thing she actually does is pilot the ship at the end, because none of the space pirates can pilot the ship that they've travelled there on.
Isn't there a scene where she goes into the vents or something, chases the alien out, or she gets the alien to chase her out?
She shoots an alien, but in the corridor, but that they see, but they're all heavily armed space pirates. I'm sure they could have dealt with it themselves. And then they stumble upon all their clones, and she destroys them. Yeah. And then they carry on moving, and then they go underwater, and then they swim, and then she climbs the ladder. One of them dies, and it's just she doesn't do anything.
That ladder scene. I've recently just seen a video of Ron Perlman talking about that ladder scene where he actually shredded the back of his legs. He ended up with
really?
Serious gashes from hanging upside down off the metal framing.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I just assumed that was trick photography and a stuntman.
No, he actually did it himself.
No, did he actually do it?
Yeah.
Obviously, another stunt that's real in that movie, the basketball shot.
Oh shit! Yeah.
It's 100% real.
She does it, doesn't she?
Yeah, she did it in the one in.
Because I've seen the outtakes afterwards, and she's like, "Did that go in? Did we get that? Was it recorded?"
It's crazy, yeah. But on the DVD extras, the director and Sigourney Weaver and even Ron Perlman says they had to cut it quick because my reaction, I've broke character, because he turns to the camera laughing in amazement. So that's a good little thing that stays in. But yeah,
you could have filmed that scene for hours and hours and hours and never got it as perfect as.
Yeah, I think she practiced and couldn't get it, but she just asked them to just give it one go with the cameras rolling, because they were going to say they were going to fix it post production anyway, and yeah, she managed to do it. I think she's a lot. Yeah, I mean, in the movie, the perspective, because it's with on camera, things look really, really big. You can play around with depth of field really, really cleverly. She's probably quite close to the basket. It's still I could never do it, but it's not as looks like she's in the middle of the court. Yeah. But obviously she's probably
the way the camera pans out from right hand side and she does it.
Yeah.
And like you say, she's probably only about 4 or 5 foot maybe.
Yeah. If you angle the camera and you focus in on specific characters, you can always make the background look a lot bigger and a lot further away. You can make small rooms look huge just by the level of where the camera's at. So that's it. But anyway, that's just me being a grumpy old man. The tone of it, like I say, Ripley just didn't do fuck all. She pilots the ship at the end, and she asks Call or Cal or Col or Kale or whatever, Winona Ryder's robot character, the android. She gets the android to plug herself into the ship's mainframe to find out where the ship is to get off the. And I think she activates the self-destruct sequence. But again, I'm sure the android could have. She's there.
She's done that without it being.
Well, she's there specifically to sabotage the mission. So
yeah,
you didn't need Ripley to tell her to do that. It was like they were giving her things to do. Apparently, Joss Whedon had like 30 to 60 different drafts of this script, which is bullshit. If you're writing a movie,
you can write that many.
Yeah, if a studio asks you to rewrite a script more than like 4 or 5 times, they just get someone to rewrite it for you. There's no way.
Yeah, I should imagine it wouldn't have been 30 to 50 full scripts.
No,
it would have been maybe 30 to 50
revisions.
Scenes, or changes.
Yeah, 30 to 60 pages that have been scribbled out and then revised. But originally, the original draft of this script, Ripley's character was Newt.
Oh.
Yeah, the clone was going to be a clone of Newt originally, and at the end of the movie was going to take place on Earth, and there was going to be a full-blown outbreak and lead into a sequel, but it never happened. It just got rewritten and rewritten.
God for that. I mean, I don't think a sequel would have worked, really. That direct sequel from that. I mean, another movie.
I think it sets it up quite well because they're a good group of characters. I would have liked them all to have survived. Obviously, Michael Wincott's character and Di Stefano, who's the bad guy from Breaking Bad. He gets his head crushed by Ripley's little baby alien that gets sucked out the hull of a ship.
Which one?
He's the Marine. He's the Marine. He teams up with them, and then he just gets absolutely.
Oh wait, the shaved head guy.
Yeah.
Who was he in Breaking Bad?
I think he's some kind of drug dealer. I think he's one of the first drug dealers that Walter White comes up.
Yeah.
On the table, and he throws the.
Oh, tight, so tight. That guy. Yeah, I know you mean. Yeah.
That's it. And he's in Gremlins too. Another connection to the Bedford Falls multiverse.
Oh my god.
He's the postman. Yeah. He pops up in all these different movies, but I always remember him as the guy who got his head turned into fucking mincemeat by the.
You see blood coming down his face.
Oh, it's grim. Yeah, there's some big kills in this movie. So there's lots of gore. But yeah, it's just cartoon logic, and it just bugged me. But I like to watch this movie in isolation, just completely. I don't bother watching this after Alien 3 if I'm doing a bit of a marathon. I watched this.
Standalone.
Yeah, I watched this the other night, just in between the Predator and Predators. It works better, I think. You get this out the way, and then you can enjoy the trilogy.
I don't think if you're looking at Aliens 3, and then obviously Alien Resurrections, where they're obviously cloned Ripley to bring it back, they never directly tie Ripley back into any of the other movies after that, did they?
No.
Obviously, with it being set in the distant future.
That annoyed me.
Obviously, Ripley's died, then she's been reborn, resurrected, so to speak. It just seemed almost like we killed her off in 3. How can we bring her back? We really want to make this movie. You don't need to use Ripley. Like you said, it was written for Newt.
Yeah,
but they obviously killed Newt off. So they're
going to bring it back as a clone. So then they just thought, we'll bring back Ripley instead.
It makes sense to watch it as a standalone movie.
Yeah, just get out of the way. Just have it as its own little space pirate movie. It's like a superhero film.
I'm gonna bring up another issue which annoys me. Ghostbusters Answer the Call. It's a standalone movie.
Every time.
They don't need to call it Ghostbusters the same way they didn't need to call this an alien movie. You could have just called it Space Pirates Chase Beasts or something.
Yeah. Or just a prequel to Firefly, because Joss Whedon went on to make Firefly, didn't he?
Oh my god. We just made a Stargate connection.
Why?
Because Firefly, Ben Browder, Claudia Black, Firefly, and then they were both in Stargate as Cam Mitchell and Val Maldoran.
Wow.
So
I don't understand anything he's just said, but that's...
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm very happy.
Tangent.
Yeah. I've never watched Stargate. Never watched the film, never watched the series.
Oh my god. The film was awful.
Any of them.
But the series is fantastic. I won't go into it now, because I'm probably going to do my own episode on that one.
Right.
Because he won't want to talk about it for an hour with me, because he'll pull the shit out of him.
I'll sit down and I'll watch them, see what they're like.
Oh, there's too many. There's like... there's 10 series of Stargate SG-1 series. There's 2 series of Stargate Universe with Robert Carlyle, and then there's 5 series of Stargate Atlantis with Jason Momoa.
That's a lot of stars and a lot of gates.
That's a lot of stars, a lot of gates, and a lot of spaceships as well. Loads of spaceships.
Watch Stargate.
So yeah. Anyway, apologise for coughing.
Well, next up, we've got our chance now to rant. So number 8 is Alien 3.
Oh, right, okay.
According to the internet. What did you have for number 8?
I had Predators.
I had AVP Requiem. So I told you it was a lot higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had a lot to say about Alien 3, so why don't you start? Because I've got a lot to say about this movie, so you start.
They took away they stripped it back to its bare bones to give it strong female lead, chasing an alien, and it's basically the first movie in a different environment. One woman, one alien, just tearing shit up. I'm not sure why you needed all the weird rapey men.
Well, it's a prison.
I know it's a prison, but it was just a little bit over. You know what I mean?
Do you think? I just think it added so much to all these characters. I fucking love this film. I can see why people hate it, but generally people seem to hate it.
I think the vein of the way the movies were progressing, obviously you had Aliens with the Space Marines, loads of guns, loads of action, and then they stripped everything back.
Yeah, it was too stripped back for a lot of people.
Too stripped back, I'd say, yeah, I'd agree. But as an adult now, again, looking back at them, you can see more of the artistic pleasures of it.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous to look at. It's really well designed.
I mean, I've got it up as number 9 on my list, so it was below AVP.
I see.
But like I say, this isn't because I didn't think it was a good movie. I think it was just not as good as the other ones.
So you got it as number 9. So yeah, so you were pretty close to the internet.
Yeah.
But no, I love this film. I didn't used to when I was a kid because I wanted more Marines. I wanted machine guns.
And I can't get past that.
I wanted Newt, I wanted Hicks, I just wanted all the stuff. Yeah, but that's as a younger viewer, as a huge fan of Aliens, as the second one, you do want to see the next part of that story. It wasn't what the fans of Aliens wanted.
Yeah.
But the massive thing, we spoke about this in the Ghostbusters episode last week. People need to differentiate what is a shit movie and what is a movie they didn't like.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times on the internet that people just scream from the rooftops, Alien 3 shit!
Yeah.
They shouldn't have killed off Newt! Alien 3 is a shit movie! I'm sorry, if you think this is a bad movie, objectively you don't understand what cinema is. You don't understand filmmaking. It's, by all means, say you don't personally like it, but you can't say it's a shit film.
That's the mistake people are making, isn't it?
Yeah, massively.
They're saying it's a shit movie. Just because you don't like it doesn't make it shit, like you say.
Exactly.
You just go, oh no, I didn't like that. Alright, move on. Watch something else.
Yeah. I just think it's almost a perfect movie because they've got everything right. It's a perfect cast. Great sort of punchy script. A lot of it sounds sort of ad-libbed almost, and half of it probably fucking was, because when they started filming this movie, they didn't have a finished script.
Really?
It was this entire production of this movie was a nightmare, an absolute car crash. I'm shocked it even got made. But so when you think of all the struggles they had in production, I just think it's a miracle that they managed to put out a 90-minute film in the cinemas. You know, like 9 months later.
Did Sigourney Weaver actually shave her head for it?
She did, yeah.
Excellent.
And but I like the fact that but in the film, I like the fact that they explain it's because there's a light problem.
Yeah, it's not
there
just
for
like
purpose.
pointless. Yeah.
Yeah, she's not just in danger because of the alien. She's in danger because she's surrounded by, like you say, all these big rapey men, like literal rapists, literal murderers, and she's got to sort of cohabit with them for the next week while the company come to get the alien. It's a nightmare scenario, but all these characters, they all have their own little backstories. And I think I just think it's brilliant. It's so gothic.
Charles Dance, isn't it?
Charles Dance, yeah, fantastic.
Game of Thrones
again.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, brilliant. He's a great character in it.
Sean Pertwee?
No, not Sean Pertwee. He's in Event Horizon.
Who's the other one? Oh, Pete Postlethwaite. Pete
Postlethwaite's in it. There's every British actor you've ever seen in any programme ever.
The guy from
Clive Mansell.
Yeah.
From Vicar of Dibley, the puddle scene. No one's ever watched the episode, but everyone just knows that scene because it's on every advert for anything British. That's like a quintessential thing. His face is British. Charles S. Dutton.
Jeez, as well.
From Mimic, yeah, he's in it. Everyone that you've ever seen in anything is in this movie. A Scouse actor called Carl Chase, who was one of the villains from Batman. He was one of the Batman's henchmen. He's the one who says, take off the bits. Oh no, when Batman's on the floor, unconscious, they just shot him. And he says, he's human after all. You know, it's bulletproof vest, he's wearing armour. He's human. Yes. I'm pretty sure that's Carl Chase's line. Yeah, just every actor that's ever been in like an episode of Morse or Midsummer Murders, they all cut their teeth in Alien 3. The guy from Mindhunter, he's in it.
Which one?
The one with the teardrop. I think he's one of the rapey ones in the junkyard. Another guy who's in it is a bit part character. The dude The black guy who says, I think he's putting he's brushing up the fuel, or he's mopping the fuel into the tunnels, and I think he says, man, I think he's the one who says, oh, this stuff stinks. He's the chief leader, the tribal chief leader in Independence Day Resurgence, who teams up with Jeff Goldblum. He's like the warlord. That's him.
Oh yeah.
Again, they've all been in loads of things. But anyway, that's enough about the cast. There's plenty of other things to talk about. The soundtrack is fantastic, but we need to get onto the effects. What did you think of the maquette that they composited onto the scenes? It wasn't a CGI. It was like, but it wasn't quite stop motion. It was like a maquette puppet that they composited. It's a maquette. It looks very
like a marionette type thing.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's quite.
So didn't suit anyone up for this one.
In certain scenes they did, but in the scenes when it's running across the ceiling and stuff like that, it's a maquette that's been. It's been like digitally added on by a green screen.
Like, if I didn't notice, it must have been really good. Because I assumed it was just someone suited up again.
Oh, you never noticed any of
No.
the because it can be quite jarring when you watch it back. You know, with
I remember it being more,
especially in HD.
I remember it being scarier.
Yeah.
It was more of a sinister alien than the ones from Aliens, and the one in Alien was the one that you didn't see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't see it as much until the very the end scenes, but I think it was more sinister, definitely more sinister and scary in 3.
Yeah, it is.
I think a lot of the running scenes where you see it run to passageways.
It's vicious. Yeah, it's super scary because it's
It
super quick.
was more like an
It's almost like more insect-like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost like a scorpion. I don't know. It's weird.
I was actually going to say a bit more like a dog.
Well, in the theatrical cut, it's come from a dog, so it's got dog-like traits. It's got like canine traits.
And then obviously when they released the
assembly cut
figures as well, there was all like the different types of aliens, wasn't it?
Yeah, scorpion, bull, spitter, fire,
and
dragon.
Don't they make a little nod to that in Alien Resurrection as well? Where you've got all the different ones in all the different pods.
I thought when I watched Resurrection that they were going to be different types of aliens, but they're all the same.
But then you'd never seen them swim before, had you? And then obviously when they that swimming scene, and they're moving almost like ballerina-esque through the water.
Weird. They're very graceful for mindless monsters. They're very graceful. They learned how to swim very quickly, didn't they? Given the fact they're only a few days old. But anyway, but yeah, in the assembly cut, which is the closest thing we'll ever get to a David Fincher director's cut of the movie, it's on for about half an hour longer, and there's so much more dialogue, there's so much more character stuff in it. But the scene with the chest burster, it doesn't come out of a dog; it comes out of an ox. So the assembly cut version is known as the bull alien, and that's why it charges the people. Yeah, so that's why it charges the people. I think the dog scenes were reshoots.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know what came first because this movie got
because
shot.
Imagine he wouldn't have refilmed every scene. They'd only be
it would have only been
cut up ones.
Yeah, it would have been.
But he would have kept some elements of the bull.
Yeah.
Or the dog type one in, wouldn't he?
So it's a bit of a weird mixture. Sometimes it's got dog traits, other times it's got sort of bull-like.
Very feral-esque, isn't it?
Yeah, it's vicious. But yeah, the assembly cut and the theatrical version, they're so different. They're both great, but the theatrical cut is a lot shorter. It's just a lot more of a basic horror movie. The assembly cut is a lot more thoughtful, and you've got a lot more emotional stuff between the characters. It's a bit more epic because it's just...
Yeah, I think when you put a horror movie in space and you use the same formula over and over again, like one bad guy chasing numerous people around, you can't just do it as like a slasher, can you? You've got to add, like you say, these almost romantic story elements to it. You've got to have the compassionate story elements to it.
Yeah, you've got to give characters a bit of background.
Although I may have bashed it at the beginning of talking about Alien 3, looking back now, there's no fault with it really.
No, I think there's very, very few
even
things.
The relationship Ripley forms with
Clemens,
Charles
Dance's character,
it's there, but it isn't. Well, obviously it is, but
And it's not in your face either, it's subtle.
Yeah,
I only
it's not like they
realised
needed to make it a big deal.
No.
Whereas most movies now, they either start with sex scenes or starting with explosions because they need to draw in the ball.
Oh god, I dread to think how graphic the love scene between Ripley and Clemens would have been if it was made now.
I mean, yeah, it'd have been a good 15-minute scene of ball sweaty, you know.
The whole film would have revolved around
their
relationship, which is ridiculous. It was, I mean, I wasn't until I was older that I actually realised that they'd slept together because it's
I think when
it only really
come out.
Yeah, it only really alludes to it. It's not in your face.
I think they need to make more movies like that.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I didn't sort of realise.
For movie watchers rather than telly lookers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because people are just watching. They're not watching. They're just looking at your TV screen. You know, shooing away, trolling everything on the internet about it. You know, make movies for people who want to watch movies. So yeah, that was my
so we both had a little rant about Alien 3 then,
but I think we both ended on a high note. I think we both
did
agree that it's a fantastic movie eventually.
Yeah, it's not quite what we all wanted.
They didn't need to make Alien Resurrection afterwards.
No, if anything, because a lot of people say that Alien 3 ruins Aliens. I think the same about Resurrection to Alien 3. I think Alien 3 perfectly closes the chapter in a pretty much perfect trilogy.
It's like that meme where they take out a lovely picture in the background, there's a dog in the foreground taking the root shit. That's like Alien 3 in the background and then Resurrection's just sat there in the front just taking
it's a very nice looking dog shit.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jean-Pierre or Jean-Paul Jeunet.
But at the end of the day, it's still dog shit.
Yeah.
Covenant.
Why was it at the bottom? Tell me what you hate about it, and I'll tell you what I like about it.
I mean, the whole David story again.
It was a drag, yeah.
We needed to move on from that.
I think it kind of fixed things that Prometheus set up.
I mean, if intergalactic space horror story needs to be set in space, not on a planet. And I know they were going for the backstory, and I know they were going for the origin story with Prometheus, and then they needed to go and tidy some things up at the end of it. But it just didn't do anything. It done nothing.
There was not much to it. It was Prometheus was overcomplicated. This was oversimplified, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But
and there was no like middle ground with these little films. And then
where's Prometheus on your list? We might as well talk about these films together because number 5 is Prometheus.
I had Prometheus at 12, which is obviously been bumped up to 11 now. But I had Prometheus and Covenant at 12 and 13 because
I see. Right, that makes perfect sense. I had Prometheus at 10. I had Covenant at 6. So we might as well talk about these together because
that's fine. Yeah.
I think these work perfectly as a little double feature. As a double bill, Prometheus and then Covenant, I think you get the whole sort of picture. Yeah. If you watch either of them in isolation on their own, they both fall way short. One overreaches, and then the other one completely underperforms.
When you did you make them both at the same time?
No, they're about 3 years apart.
Would it be better making them both at the same time? Sitting back, looking at the edit and going, we can make one movie out of this.
It could, yeah. I think if you watch them together, it is one big long movie.
Split it into 3 parts. 3 acts, you know, obviously started with the shorter backstory from Prometheus, you know, the long journey to space, seeking out a new planet, the parts with the oil stuff in, David's little bit of a story, the Weyland-Yutani connection to it, and then, you know, back to a space horror movie at the end of it, with the aliens chasing them around a spaceship.
It's so tacked on, that ending. With the alien and the ship, but I mean they needed it because it's called Alien. You need to have an alien on a spaceship killing people.
And now we've gone fast forward. When did Covenant come out?
Covenant was 2018 or 2000. No, I think Covenant was 2016.
Covenant was 17.
Was it 17?
17, yeah.
Prometheus was 2012.
So
yeah, this is a good.
Jeez,
good.
4 years there.
They only made this. Ridley Scott only made this because Neil Blomkamp was almost going to get money from Fox to do Alien 5 with Sigourney Weaver and Michael Benn and Carrie Henn as well. Remember all the artwork came out, all them concept designs?
Why didn't they do that?
Ridley Scott didn't want it to happen, and they wouldn't fund 2 separate movies. So they greenlit Covenant instead of the Blomkamp one. Now, I think it does a lot right, but again, this is another movie on this list that relies heavily on visuals.
The visuals were good, the whole artistic style.
The feel of it is nice. It's
the cinematography, but it's so far away from anything Alien previously.
I think it goes quite close to the first movie in terms of the basic sort of story, maybe. But I know what you mean. I think Prometheus drags everything so far forward in terms of all these big grand themes of religion and death and creation and fucking hell, it's so overblown. Yeah, it's just
too many elements to it.
Overstuffed intellectual wank fest.
It's like a Taderkin. You know when you get one of them birds inside a bird, inside a bird, inside a bird.
Is that what it's called?
Taderkin, yeah.
A Taderkin?
It's like a turkey, a chicken and a duck.
It's one of them fucking things that Jamie Oliver twat goes on television to show how to make everything.
Too much stuff in it.
It's
and then it's like just
none
tastes like meat.
Yeah,
it's
none of it works.
It tastes like a chicken. You know what I mean?
There's parts of Prometheus where you're watching money burn on screen, but more importantly than that, you can literally visualise the script on a page getting scribbled out where they've changed shit.
You took out all the good bits.
Yeah, the planet. It's not LV426 anymore. We're going to rename it. It's LV372 or something like that. So straight away, no, it turns out that it's not the same planet. It's not LV426. It's LV something else. So it's not the same planet. They see the derelict, but it's not the same derelict from Alien. It's a different derelict. It's not the same pilot because he gets fucking face hooked in a different location. But you can tell that on the original script, it's been just a straight off prequel. They've been trying to explain to us in a 2-hour movie how everything got to be on that planet for Alien, much like the Thing prequel. It just explains to us in really, really simple terms what happened before and why there is a ship and an alien in that specific part of the planet. But you can see where they've changed everything. The jars with black ooze in were obviously going to be fucking eggs.
Yeah.
The people who mutated were obviously going to get face hugged and then chest burst.
What are what's the alien from the very beginning of it called? Are they called like the constructors or the builders?
Engineers.
The engineers.
The engineers. And then who gives a shit where they came from?
Obviously, they needed to bring in the H.R. Geiger element to it, didn't they? With the artwork. So you've got the
which I think it stays quite faithful.
The engineers.
Yeah.
In his seat, haven't they?
They've got the engineer in the seat at one stage, but then he gets out the seat to go and find the lady, I can't remember her fucking name, and he gets face hugged by a massive octopus that came out the lady's stomach when she goes in that pod.
Which is like a de-evolved version of the face hugger.
Yeah, and again, so I'm just trying to think, maybe in the original script, was that an alien that she was taking out of herself, or the first face hugger? Was whatever that she took out of herself originally meant to be a face hugger? The face hugs the pilot after he's chased her, but then he goes back to his crashed ship, sits in his little seat, and then gets chest burst, and then it's all set up there. Yes, then it's all set up. Then that would just tie it into Alien. Right, we've seen what's happened on this planet. We know why there's a derelict ship there. We know why there's loads of eggs, and we know why because obviously whatever came out the pilot would have been a queen if it was going to tie to Alien.
Yes.
But again, it doesn't, because it's established that it's a different fucking planet, it's a different derelict spaceship, it's a different space jockey in a different fucking seat with a different alien. It's fucking stupid. They should have just kept it simple.
Yeah.
But do you know why they didn't keep it simple? Because Damon Lindelof, who wrote Lost, wrote this movie. That's why it's fucking an absolute mess.
God. Speaking of things that are drawn out to the point where you lose fucking interest in it, Lost was that thing, and it took me 10 years to watch Lost.
I'm never going to watch it.
Honest to God. When it first came out, it was HBO or AMC, I can't remember which one it was on.
Oh yeah.
It first come out, I watched the first series, fantastic.
I watched the first few episodes.
First couple of episodes of the second series, I lost my interest. I think I started watching Sex and the City, to be honest, with the missus. But yeah, Lost. And then it was only I think it was during lockdown when I was looking for things to watch.
Oh, you went back?
I went back and I watched them all, and it still made no fucking sense at the end of it. Were they all dead? Were they in limbo? Were they in heaven? Were they in hell? Was it purgatory? Was it this? Was it that? Was it fucking the human centipede? I don't know. And I don't
that's how we can. That's how we can link these to the human centipede.
And yeah, I mean, Lost, you know, brought up so many good actors as well, and then just fucked them completely by putting them in it.
Yeah. I remember someone trying to convince me to watch it in a pub once, years and years ago. It was after it just finished. I know. It was a while ago, and he explained the premise to me. So I just said, "Well, are they dead?" You know, when he said about, "Oh, they're on an island, and there's been a plane crash, but they're stuck on an island, and there's all things from their past popping up, and it's like a mystery." And it was like, so I just said to him, "So they're dead?" And he went, no, it's not dead. So I was like, well, they're in limbo. Oh, no, you're just going to have to watch it. It's like, so it's like some kind of government experiment. I was like, you're just going to have to watch it. I was like, well, if it's all three of them and none of them three, I don't fucking care. Yeah. It's just, but yeah, so that's why it's a fucking mess. That's why it's full of all these ideas and plot threads that go absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. But like I say, long drawn out. Covenant, just as long and drawn out.
I wouldn't say Covenant was drawn out. I'd say if anything, it was wrapped up quite fast, but a bit too quick. You know what I mean? I think the middle section. Sorry, actually, I go back on that. The middle section does fucking drag when it's David and Walter, two weird robots. It's so bizarre. I laughed out loud in the cinema when he says the line about "I'll do the fingering." I know that's so childish. I know I am very childish. But I was in an empty cinema watching that.
Kids, what you expect?
Yeah. But yeah, it's I like it, but it's got its faults. But I think if you watch them back to back, it manages to wipe away any of the nonsense that Prometheus tries to set up. It manages to backtrack enough that it says, look, this isn't important. The engineers are all dead now. We've got a mad robot, and more importantly, here's an alien, here's an egg, here's a face hugger, here is a xenomorph.
It looks more like it's what you used to.
Yeah, I think you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I'm sure Ridley Scott was probably thinking to himself, we need to drag this back to the Alien franchise now. We've tried to branch out with Prometheus and the engineers and this big, huge, overarching theme of religion and faith and creativity and all that bollocks.
I think if you look at Alien 3, they still have the elements of religion and faith.
Fucking lot. They had a lot. There's a lot more sort of themes in Alien 3 than any of the Prometheus.
It's probably more modern religious style, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than
it's very
newfangled.
Yeah.
And then even in the comic books as well.
Is it Music of the Spheres, the one where it's like a religion? Is that what it's called? Or am I getting mixed up? They've dipped their toe in the more intellectual sort of side of it, and then. I
suppose when you want to spread your viewers some more demographics, you have to put in a little bit more token shit in for everyone. Yeah,
they've got the fans of the original to please. They've got modern audiences to please. They've got general audiences to please. They've got die-hard fans who will just watch anything to please. What's he supposed to do? I mean, someone should have really said to Ridley Scott, look, it's fine, just you've done your 3 weeks filming with the actors, let the second unit director take over now, really. Yeah. Go and sit down, go and cash your check and go and take your blood pressure tablets.
Yeah.
Go and have a rest, go
chill.
Yeah.
Go over there.
But no, he just had to make another one. He had to block the Neil Blomkamp version. But we'll never know. The internet rankings, number 2 is Alien.
Same.
I had Alien 3 as my number 2. That's how much I rate Alien 3. That's how. Okay. And there's a very specific reason for this. I had Aliens as 3 because with Alien 3, with the assembly cut, it turns into it just becomes quite epic and quite thoughtful, and it's so much more than just a horror film.
Yeah, I think.
Whereas the definitive version of Aliens now seems to have become the special edition, and I have a lot of issues with the special edition.
There's another version coming out. There's a 5K version coming out, isn't there, this year?
The 4K version's been released, and it's people are not happy because it's not. They've cleaned up all the film grain. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Colourful and bright, isn't it?
Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute. But for now, so Alien.
I love
Alien is number 2 on the internet. I was shocked when I was doing this. I assumed it'd be the other way around. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert: Aliens is number 1, obviously, on the internet. So yeah, so we'll do these as
Aliens and Man more too.
Yeah, I had Alien as my number 1.
I can understand that though, because your preference and my preference, although we both love the same movies, you're more clinical and more.
You've gone for the
I'm going to hit it with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, you've gone for the fun. I've gone for the atmosphere. Yeah. But they're both. I mean, everything. The first 4 movies on this list are pretty much fucking flawless, isn't it?
Definitely.
We're
Aliens, Alien, Predator, Prey. I'd even go as far as push them to 5 and go Predator 2.
Oh, do you know what? Yeah,
because I mean, you can't have Prey without Predator 2. Really, can you?
The gun ties them together, I suppose. I don't know. Anyway, so all my notes I've written for Alien is perfect movie. There's nothing to really talk about. It's just a masterpiece, and I don't use that word to be sort of hyperbolic.
No.
I mean, there's literally nothing wrong with it.
Look at when it came out, 1979, the dawn of the 80s.
Yeah,
dawn of the action movie era.
Yeah, it's aged very, very well.
Yeah, and even because we went and watched the 30th anniversary, didn't we?
We did. We had a lovely time. That was in fact cinema.
And I've never seen it in the cinema before. I'd only ever seen it on like VHS or DVD. And watching it it was the extended version, wasn't it? I
think it might have been the director's cut with the extra few scenes.
It's only like 14 minutes or something like that, isn't it?
Oh, it's like an extra like 3 or 4 minutes. It's very, very minimal.
But yeah, watching it in the cinema,
it's a completely different experience, isn't it? It's unreal.
Yeah, the atmospherics as well come with it, and it's
so much more immersive on the big screen,
and it gives you that. Although it's like the dawn of the 80s, it's still got that Stanley Kubrick Space Odyssey kind of feel to it, where everything's still.
The opening scenes are in the sleep chambers where everything's white, and in the medical bay where everything's white.
And then I think now, if you look at the new Romulus trailer,
aesthetically it looks very similar, doesn't it?
It is, and you can't fault it. And if that's the route they're going to go with it, hope 100% perfect.
We can both hope, fingers crossed.
And if I had to throw Romulus in this list,
as it stands,
they'd all be above slight teaser trailer.
They'd all be above the Predator.
I'm gonna.
It'd be slap bang in the middle, just out of a punt.
I'll put it in 6.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be better than Prometheus and Covenant.
Yeah, and I mean,
or at least on par with Covenant 2. It's not going to be worse than the recent ones, surely.
Yeah, I'd definitely slip it in at 6 and then see how it plays out.
Yeah,
and then maybe adjust me rating with it.
It will be interesting to look at this list in another, like, what, 8 weeks, 12 weeks? Is it in June? Yeah. July or August? Is it? I think yeah. So it'll be interesting to go back in this list.
It could even
because that will be the 14th movie. So it'll be interesting to see where it sits.
It could even end up at 14th.
We'll have to refer to this when we do the review of the movie. We'll refer back to this footage.
Yeah. We'll timestamp that bit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's not. Yeah, when, like I say, it's 10 out of 10. There's nothing. There's nothing you can mark it down on. It's aged perfectly. There's only the scene at the end when it turns into a rubber doll. When it falls on the ship. But apart from that, it's aged perfectly.
It's a brilliant film. Aesthetically pleasing. Character building, brilliant. Character backstory, not much there, is there? But it gives you enough.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be. Really, their interactions are spot on. There's a lot of ad-libbed dialogue as well.
Is there?
Yeah. There's a lot of scenes in the engine room when Ripley says, "Why don't you just fuck off?" Apparently, a lot of the stuff between Brett and Parker is ad-libbed.
Wow.
Yeah, because they all got on set. Apparently, Sigourney Weaver didn't like Yaphet Kotto that much, but apparently it was because Ridley Scott I think he sort of stirred some shit between them because he wanted the tension to be on screen.
He wanted it real,
and it worked.
Wow.
And they both discovered that later.
Was this before the time of method acting? The directors
I think
and writers.
I think method acting was. I think the forefront of that was like late 70s, early 80s. What a lot of independent cinema in the 70s started that kind of method acting. So. Yeah,
they forced attention to create it. Really.
Yeah, but Ridley Scott, he's a clever fucker. You know, he knew how to get the tension out the actors, and but yeah, they discovered this years later apparently, and then now they've Yaphet Kotto and Sigourney Weaver became like really sort of close, but at the time they didn't really get on because
what Ridley Scott had done.
Because Ridley Scott had basically told Yaphet Kotto to
be a cunt to her.
No, just annoy us. Just.
You would have thought that like, post movie, post production, he'd have gone up and look, listen, I forced all this by the way. You know, it wasn't real. You know, he actually likes you, you actually like him, so just be nice to each other.
So that's an interesting little thing about the movie. But
Ridley Scott. Hold on.
See, I mark this above Aliens because Aliens to me it's brilliant, but I think it's more the fun elements, the fun and adventure elements of it.
Yeah.
It's still fantastic, but the reason I've got Alien and then Alien 3 and then Aliens, that was a tough one. Like I say, the bottom of my list, I've measured it for fun and experience and the movie watching experience. I've tried to be as clinical as possible, and I think if I compare the assembly cut of Alien 3 to Aliens, the special edition for me falls down because all the added scenes kind of degrade it in terms of the pace of the story and some of the characters. I think it's the scene in the dropship when Hudson is saying about the badasses will protect you and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that scene that's very cartoonish. You find out Ripley's got a daughter. That's the only part of the special edition.
Sat in the hologram.
Yeah, that's the only part that should have stayed in, as far as I'm concerned. Everything else in the special edition ruins the film. The auto gun scene, when they put them scenes when they put them guns in the tunnels, it takes away any kind of tension because in the theatrical cut,
it breaks the flow.
Yeah, after the crash in the theatrical cut, after the crash, Hicks has shown them what weapons they've got. They've got hardly anything and they've got hardly any ammo. They're at their absolute lowest ebb. This, shit just got real. They're in they are in trouble.
It's building the tension, isn't it?
Yeah, but then all of a sudden in the special edition, he just says, that's the bad news. The good news is we've got these fucking robot guns and we're going to position them. And so you think, well, all right, they're safe now. They've barricaded themselves in, they've sealed themselves in, and they've got robotic machine guns. And
it's like I seen this thing today about why people rewatch the same movies and rewatch the same series and episodes of certain things. It's to do with people who suffer with anxiety, so they don't like the surprise of not knowing what's happening. So they rewatch same movies.
Is that why people do that?
Yeah, apparently so.
That's interesting.
So it's almost what they do.
Psychology.
It's almost what they do in this scene, where they build up your level of anxiety, and then they go, "Oh, but everything's going to be all right because we've got these big machine guns."
I suppose.
And you can go, "Oh, God for that."
Yeah.
But you don't want that with this movie. You want to constantly on edge.
My problem is the fact that it just breaks up the tension twice, because twice the aliens attack and twice the sentry guns blow them to shit. Yeah. Now my problem, my main issue with the idea of these sentry guns is how many aliens how many colonists were there? 236. I mean, Ripley specifically states the exact number of
because they're all tagged, aren't they?
Yeah. I think there's like 230, 180. I'll put it on screen. However many there is, there's not that many. There's not enough for it to be a swarm of aliens. So when they're in the tunnels, they must have killed about 20 aliens in the hive attack.
They're killing themselves, aren't they? To waste the batteries, because sacrificing themselves on the.
Well, we assume they're doing that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, even if they are, even Hudson says they're wall to wall in there, and we see a few of them get blown up. We hear them all screaming. Them guns look really powerful. So they must have, they're killing 30 or 40 each time. How many aliens are left by the time they attack in the
if the Queen's laying eggs and she's only going to lay enough eggs to cover one body.
Yeah.
Like you say, there's only going to be 200 of.
Yeah.
If they're sacrificing themselves in the tunnel, the sentry guns have got what? 500 rounds, something like that.
Something like that, but it's
something.
So,
And you'd think they'd go through all the aliens before they go, alright, Sam, all the aliens are dead now. We've got to deal with the Queen.
yeah, that's what I mean. By the time Ripley fights the Queen in the special edition, there can only be a handful of aliens left. They must, I mean, about 40 or 50 must get killed on screen in the Hive attack, and then when the attack operations.
Yeah.
You know, not they would. You know, the colonists would have managed to kill a
the
few.
whole movie, that when you attack them and
Yeah, it's perfect.
barricade themselves in that room.
Yeah, but it's just it's silly. It's for me it ruins the movie. So that's when I hold up that version of the film, which is this seems to be the definitive one now. I always think, well, no, it's not as good as the very first time I watched it, and it's not as good as the very first version that came out, because these little things ruin the pace, and they ruin the tension, and they ruin the logic of the story as well. Because without them auto guns, there are going to be hundreds of aliens outside the operations room, and they will be surrounded. Whereas, like I say, the special edition, there can only be a handful of aliens left.
When did the original director's cut come out?
1990, the special edition came out. So it was only 4 years after the theatrical cut. Obviously, Cameron said that it was for time, basically, and it makes it a bit more. It's still a long movie.
The movie flows well better without it.
Yeah,
definitely. And in the 90s, when I don't even think there was a demand for director's cuts, then was there?
No, it was.
Were saying,
it was more rare.
Director's cuts as they are now.
Yeah, it wasn't studio driven. It will have very much been the directors sort of wanted to be released, and then the studios see pound signs and think, oh yeah, we will, because it would have cost them a lot of money to re-release stuff.
And nowadays it's just like, yeah, we've got the original version and we're going to make another version of it.
Yeah,
for extra pennies later on.
Yeah,
it's the franchise, right?
It seems to be the norm now. You expect streaming releases to have to be extended cuts.
But like I was saying, it just seemed pointless for its time to release a director's cut with what is, like you say, a really ruining version. Yeah,
I mean that's just my personal thing. So, like I say, when I've tried to measure them on a purely artistic level, technical level, I think Alien 3, it just about pips Aliens. But in terms of enjoyment, obviously Aliens is so much more fun than Alien 3. Alien 3 is a bleak, it's a bleak movie. But I love that. I just love the look of it. I love the soundtrack. I love the actors. I love the story. But it's like I say, this is we're down to fine margins now. This was this was very, very difficult. So I thought, and I knew you'd have Aliens as number one.
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck it. Well, I'll throw a hornet. I'll throw a hornet's nest in there.
I had three rankings. So I had the overall rankings. I've got a Predator ranking and I've got an Aliens ranking.
You were determined to get these.
I had to get them in. Sorry,
this is going to be a fucking nightmare to edit.
So you don't need to do any editing. I just got to spill them out.
Okay? No, my ADHD will not allow me to not edit this bit.
Okay. So I'll do it quickly. My Predator ratings: Predator, Alien vs Predator, Predator 2, Predators, AVP.
And
then the Predators.
Whoa! Say that again slowly.
From 1 to 6.
Yeah.
I hadn't put Prey in this, but I'm going to put Prey in. At number 2, okay. So on my Predator ratings, I've got Predator, Prey, Alien vs Predator, Predator 2. These were my original ones.
You put Alien vs Predator
I know,
before Predator 2. Oh my god!
Predators at number 4, AVP Requiem at 5, and the Predators at 6.
I'm glad you had AVP Requiem above the Predators, because Requiem is the little movie that could. Yeah. It deserves a bit more love, I think. It gets more things right than the Predator.
Oh God, definitely.
The Predator gets everything fucking wrong, apart from some of the comedy. Some of the bits in that movie are funny. Yeah. But it's so.
And then
so go on. What's your
Aliens rating? Aliens number 1, Alien number 2. Alien Resurrection number 3. I know, I'm going to switch it for Alien 3. So I've got Alien 3 at 3 and Alien Resurrection at 4. Prometheus and then Covenant. But yeah,
I can't believe you put Covenant right at the bottom.
It's not like a worst movie. It's just in my preference order.
So if you had to watch them in order of preference, you'd be
I'd
happy
watch
for
them
Covenant to be after Resurrection. And I understand what you've done there. You put Resurrection before 3 to get out the way. I kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if you, like, going back to when we were speaking earlier on about watching it independently or as a standalone movie, I could quite easily just take it out.
Yeah.
And not watch it at all, or watch it on like a Wednesday instead.
Yeah.
Of Sunday.
If I was going to watch the Alien movies, I'd always just do it Aliens, and then Alien 3. I think as a trilogy, I just think it's perfect, because I think the most important thing to remember is that all these films, although some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are fucking fantastic, and some of them are a handful of them are absolute shite, absolute balls. They're all watchable. But they're all very, very different. They all look different. They've all got their own sort of vision. They're all done by by different filmmakers that have their own interpretation of how these things need to be put on screen. That theory obviously falls down when you get to Prometheus and Covenant, because they're back to Ridley Scott again, and it's not Ridley Scott in the 70s or the 80s. This is Ridley Scott doing his impression of George Lucas, whereas he seems determined to fuck things up. But anyway, if I had to watch these in order of preference, I have put Alien 3 and Aliens. But if I had to watch them, I'd always just do Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3, because it's just
you gotta watch them in order.
They're just fantastic.
Really sure
Yeah, and the storyline, it's just nice and compact. It's an open and shut thing, and you can